Speaking of wild sizes, Henry, let's dive into our draft player prospect preview.
Yes.
Get all the P's in there and talk about someone you call a physical freak.
Physical freak. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Joe Tippman. There we go, center. Again, just a massive guy from Wisconsin. That's what really stands out. I think he was a big-time recruit also. How could you not be 6'6", 313?
I believe he was Mr. Illinois football player of the year in high school.
Sounds like who they would choose.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So he was a big-time recruit. Best football player in the state of Illinois.
Played really well. I think probably the number one center in this draft. There's that John Michael Schmitz sometimes is up there. But he probably is the top center in the draft. Again, there's some debate. There's even, I saw somebody yesterday say like, it was the top 16 offensive players in the draft. Our guy Steve Avila's in there.
Yep.
No other centers in there.
Wow.
And so that might be more based on like current ability, and not so much draft potential, but there is some debate around the top. And that's why you probably see one of these guys fall to the Broncos, at least be an option at 67. I doubt any centers go in the first round, maybe one in the first 10 picks or so of the second, but even that is probably 50-50. And so Tippman very well could be on the board. I mentioned it in the graphic, the leverage is the big concern. You just don't see centers that big because they don't need to be that big. Like usually when you're on the edge, you like to have that length and that reach and be able to take up a lot of space. I guess you kind of want to take up space in the middle, but you want to be able to get low and hit guys. And so sometimes, you see how tall is Deshaun Williams?
Not tall.
Oh
my goodness.
Like under 6 foot, maybe?
Yes.
Like Deshaun Williams going up against a guy who's 6'6". He gets low, gets around. He can probably push him back. So there are some issues with some guys like that. Those issues you might be more concerned about at the next level because now all of a sudden you're going up against NFL players.
Sure.
College guy could do it. Then not. Flip side of that, not as many small defensive linemen in the NFL as there are in college. So that could play out in a couple different ways. Good athlete for sure.
Yep.
Not the most like bendy type of guy, but I mean 6'6". Exactly. 6'6", big, strong. I'm not sure if we have. No, I don't have his bench press here, but potentially the best center in the draft.
Yeah, and to me, I do think he's absolutely in that conversation. That's why he's not going to be there at 67. If he is, what a home run pick for the Broncos right here. We both had center at 67. If it's Joe Tippman, that is a great pick for the Broncos. And Henry, you hit it spot on. Oh, yeah, here, can you pull up the graphic again? Because I think the picture that you put for him is just perfect. The downside of him is look at the way he's playing right here. He's like
hunched.
He's hunched over, leaning forward. Really, the only downside to him is that sometimes it's just, I don't mean lazy in a bad way. I just mean like when he's playing the competition in college, he just uses his top half a little too much. But I don't think that's like a chronic problem for him where he can't use the lower half. He just plays top heavy. And as you see there, he kind of looks top heavy there. Specifically in college, that happens when you're 6'6". I think that's something that he can work on. And again, I don't think that's like an issue that's going to kill him in the pros. But he is super smart as well. According to his coaches and everyone, he makes all the calls at the line. That's what the Broncos need. That's what anyone needs from a center, but especially the Broncos, so that he can help Russell Wilson out. He can be in between two vets and really learn the offense quickly and be making the calls and checks at the line of scrimmage. So that is just a huge bonus on top of the physical features that he has. 6'6", you're right, Henry. You don't see 6'6" at center often, but to me, it's not something where I'm scared away from him. You just got to make sure that he works on his leverage a lot. But man, this would be such a good pick for the Broncos if they can get him in the third.
And the other thing that you kind of worry about with the really big guys is can they get to the second level?
Yeah.
And that might be what he's best at.
Right.
Is just like sprinting forward, finding a linebacker, finding a safety, and just hitting him.
Yep.
Again, a little top heavy. Can use that as like a battering ram when you're out in space against those guys.
Right.
Also, again, like if you're worried about leverage, hopefully he finds his way around the Deshaun Williams because he is the type of guy you want against a 6'6" Chris Jones, for example.
That's a very good point.
And so if you kind of look at that and say, we really like his matchup against the great defensive linemen, we can figure out a way to make it work against the guys who aren't as good, just to
Right.
kind of put it bluntly. Either he can beat him. If not, like centers, you typically have help.
Right.
Like more often than not, you're going to have help with all your blocks.
Right.
So it's not like it's going to be the end of the world. But the idea of him getting out in space with Quinn Miners right next to him and Mike McGlinchey too. All those guys are just so mobile.
Oh my goodness, mobile, and what a big offensive.
Then you start throwing
line.
Powers and Bowles in too, and you're just massive.
Ben Powers would be your smallest offensive lineman?
But biggest by weight.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just simply would not have a small offensive lineman. You wouldn't even have an average offensive lineman.
No.
Yeah, your shortest would be Ben Powers.
Yep.
But he's also your thickest. And then Mike McGlinchey's your tallest and probably the skinniest.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, what a monster offensive line the Broncos are already going to have, but especially if they add a guy that's 6'6", 315.
Totally. I mean, it would be sick. They
That's
would
a
be
big
awesome.
tackle, let alone center.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's prototypical tackle size.
Man,
It's like what you're looking for.
Man, I love it. And again, I don't think his size will hurt him if he's surrounded by the right offensive line coach.
Are you worried about Russ being short?
Oh, man, with that line, that's a good question. Man, because he'd have to throw over, Garrett Bowles is 6'3", 6'8", 6'6".
Is Garrett Bowles only 6'3"? He might be.
Maybe he's 6'4". What do you find?
Broncos have him listed at 6'5". Let's see what the combine says.
6'5". Oh, wow.
He's just so wide that it's not the height that stands out.
Damn. 6'5". That's even crazier.